it is irresponsible. I mean, it is directly harmful. Our society is as politically shattered as it is, in part because of how Joe has interacted with information.
In this clip, Kyle Kulinski takes a look at comments made by Sam Harris regarding Joe Rogan and his effect, not just on the election, but sort of the zeitgeist, like the state we find ourselves in terms of information and media. It's an interesting, like, I'm a fan of Kyle Kulinski's anyway. And Sam Harris is got some really interesting views, particularly on religion, that I like his debates. Sam Harris is actually able to very clearly make his points, and I admire that about him. But he's clearly a smart guy, and yeah, let's watch this together. I'll have my thoughts, and then I want to know what you think in the comments. But it's interesting. Let's check it out.
All right, guys. So Sam Harris went viral on social media here because he had some commentary on the current state of politics, but more importantly, the current state of the podcast world, the new media world, the Rogan sphere, if you will. And he used to be, a regular sort of member of the Rogan sphere. He's been on the podcast probably double-digit times, right? Kind of similar to me. I wasn't on as much as him, but I was on maybe 5 times or so on Rogan. And man, he has some thoughts here. So let's listen and we'll break it down as we go.
Joe is a genuinely good guy who wants good things for people. But he is honestly in over his head on so many topics of great consequence, right? And when he brings someone on to just shoot the shit about, how the Holocaust is not what you think it was, right? Or
he literally did that, by the way. Just so everybody knows, this is not hyperbolic. Because you could hear Sam Harris say this and think like, oh, he's being hyperbolic. No. He had on that guy, Daryl Cooper, who literally did Nazi apologetics right to Rogan's face. Go watch the video we did on that. We did a video on that. I think it was called like the Nazi apologist experience or something like that with Joe Rogan, something like that. Go watch that video. He's literally talking to a guy who does exactly that. He talked to a guy who said Churchill was the chief villain of World War II. The chief. Can't stress that word enough. The chief villain of World War II. Is there anybody worse? Let me think. Are there multiple people worse? Hitler, Mussolini, Emperor Hirohito, right? Like, he's right. He's also right about Joe being in over his head. I consider that fucking patently obvious. When Joe has on a robber baron billionaire oligarch seemingly every month, and the oligarchs routinely lie to his face about the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, which is basically the anti-scam police in our government. They've returned billions of dollars to Americans who were defrauded by big financial institutions. They're basically, if you get scammed, that's where you go. And they are wildly successful, and they're so easy to work with, right? That's who they are. Joe had on a bunch of billionaire robber barons who were like, bro, the CFPB thing, whatever it's called, bro, like, they messed me up, bro. They came after my buddy, dog. They like really do fucked up shit. They oppress us, man. And that's how he's in over his head, because anybody worth a shit would immediately look up, what's the CFPB? What do they do? What's the evidence? Here, look through their history, etc. Couldn't do it, didn't do it. Sat there and let them lie. They kept saying to his face, oh, the CFPB debanks conservatives. Meanwhile, the reality is, not only do they not do that, they've protected people from being debanked. By the way, the Republicans wanted to legalize debanking. The people he fucking votes for and sucks off on a show on a regular basis. Okay, I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's let him continue.
Maybe Churchill's the bad guy in World War II.
Is that Tucker?
Or he's got Dave Smith, being treated as an expert on Israel and Palestine and the history of that conflict and the.
Okay, that's. You just lost me, Sam Harris. I have so many criticisms of so many of the people Joe brings on the show and of Joe himself and of the shit they talk about. But one of the best parts is having Dave Smith on to keep Joe Rogan sane and grounded on the issue of Israel and Gaza. In fact, he handpicked probably the single best moments from the Joe Rogan experience within the past 2 years and said, that's the problem, bro. No, it's not. By the way, Dave Smith would cook Sam Harris on a debate about foreign policy, and like I did, and on a debate about Israel-Palestine. It wouldn't even be close. Look, Dave Smith is a libertarian. In my opinion, he's dead wrong on economic issues, right? But on foreign policy issues, depending on the one in question, he's a lot better than Sam Harris is. Sam Harris is an ardent Zionist and a neocon. So, I mean, it'd be good to see them debate it, but clearly he like looks down on Dave Smith. Bro, I can't talk to Dave Smith, bro. Dave is right on Israel and Gaza. You are wrong. You are monstrously wrong. So he lost me here.
Emergency that came to the world's attention on October 7th, and what is appropriate to think in the aftermath of all of that, right? Dave Smith is the only reason why anyone knows what Dave Smith thinks about any of this is very likely because Joe had him on multiple times to talk about it, right?
Yeah, he's one of the least bad of the people that Joe has propped up. That's what I would say. Again, I would disagree vehemently with Dave Smith on like 50 to 60% of political issues, but on the other 40, he's just leagues better than almost anybody he has on his shitty fucking podcast now.
He's a pure misinformation artist. And
No, that's you. On the issue of Israel and Gaza, that's you. This is Mr. like, bro, the fucking Muslim birth rates are too high, bro, and the West is falling, bro. Like, yeah, you did your whole fucking fear-mongering over Muslims for a fucking decade now. People are past it.
And, on top of many others. And when Joe talks to someone like Trump or Tucker Carlson or, any of these other guys who lie as freely as they breathe and doesn't push back against any of their lies. In fact, in Trump's case, really fairly energetically helped put his lies into the most plausible possible shape.
That is 100% correct. That's what we talked about. Go watch my segment. I covered his talk with Trump. It's like, pick any asshole mainstream media journalist. They have done a better interview with Trump than Joe Rogan did. Joe Rogan sat there and took it. When Trump said about Hillary, I never said lock her up. I never said lock her up. People in the audience would say lock her up, and I'd say, oh, I don't know about that. Seems a little much. And Joe sat there. He didn't respond. He said, hold on. Wait a second. Jamie, pull that up. Like, see if there's fucking a compilation of it. Because we played the compilations on the show. He said it a gazillion fucking times. He said lock her up countless. It was like one of his campaign slogans. There was like MAGA and drain the swamp, and then lock her up was chanted all the time, and he would say it too. And he was like, one of the things Rogan said to him was like, oh, make your case on why you think 2020 was stolen. I'll move out of the way and let you make the full argument, unlike the people in the media who will cut you off. Yeah, when the people in the media cut him off, it's because he's fucking lying, and they're like, you're fucking lying, and here's how we know you're lying. Rogan made it seem like virtuous to let him lie about that in front of everybody. I mean, it was just pathetic. It was just absolutely fucking pathetic. He did no homework for it. He didn't know the first fucking thing. That
is one of the most dangerous things to get sucked into is this, this argument they make that alternate facts, like, well, that's how you interpreted this data, but that data could be interpreted in other ways. But that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about, January 6th was a day of peace where everybody was like held hands and sang Kumbaya, right? There was no violence on January 6th. Come on. They're just lies. They're just rewriting history, and it is dangerous to allow somebody to, let me give you time to tell your half of your side of the story. There's no side of the story. His side of the story is a falsehood.
I love how he asked Trump, like, hey man, did you make mistake in your first term when you invited in the neocons to be in your administration? And he posed it like this good faith, like, that was a mistake, wasn't it? Like, you're not going to make that same mistake this time. And it's like, anybody who's well-versed on this shit would know. Number one, it wasn't a fucking mistake. Number two, it wasn't just the neocons. Trump himself is a warmonger. Number three, like, immediately after Trump got back in office, he invited like 17 more neocons in, and now he's warmongering more than George W. Bush and Dick Cheney ever, right? When you're threatening Greenland, you're threatening Canada, you're threatening Panama on top of Gaza, on top of Iran, Mexico. You're a way bigger warmonger than even George W. Bush is. And Rogan sat there, took him at good faith, all the bullshit online about like, oh, Trump's anti-war, bro. Oh, really? He's anti-war? Is that why he broke the drone strike record in his first term and increased it 432%? Is that why he kept us in Iraq and Afghanistan? Is that why he said we're occupying Syria to take the oil? Is that why he gave Israel the Golan Heights and said, I know it's Syrian territory, but it's yours now? Is that why he ripped up the Iran agreement and he bombed Qasem Soleimani? Like, it drives me crazy, man. So on this one, Sam Harris is 100% correct. Joe has no idea what the fuck he's talking about. He's massively in over his head. He's in this friend group of right-wing idiots. They all convinced him, oh, you got to endorse Trump, and Trump is base, bro. Trump is base, bro. And now he owns everything. He owns all of it. The other day, he was like, you know, bro, I'm lefty on some things, right-wing on other things. I believe in, like, universal health care and stuff, bro. I believe in socialized medicine, bro. He said that on his show the other day. Meanwhile, he said fucking dick when the House Republicans just passed a bill to cut Medicaid, which is healthcare for poor people, $880 billion, which would destroy Medicaid and make it so we basically don't even fucking have it anymore. Stealing healthcare from tens of millions of Americans casually with a vote through Congress, and he said fuck all about it. So spare me with your in theory, hypothetically, I kind of support these things, bro. Meanwhile, every actual decision you make in this real world that impacts people, you're consistently on the wrong side, sucking off J.D. Vance, sucking off Donald Trump. Give me a break.
It is irresponsible. I mean, it is directly harmful. Our society is as politically shattered as it is, in part because of how Joe has interacted with information.
It's true. It's all vibes. It's all vibes. It's all vibes. And the thing is, vibes got me in that room. And I was able to try to speak sense for a while. But, you know, the vibes of the ascendant right-wingers online sort of captured him. And he felt like, this is cool, bro. We're part of something bigger than ourselves. And we all like to beat on fucking woke college campus kids who don't like comedy, bro. And he just got swept up in all that.
Again, I don't think this is, I think a lot of this is inadvertent.
True.
Or maybe all of it's inadvertent.
I tend to agree with Sam on this. I know some people say, like, no, I think he's literally just bought off. And to the extent that you consider the 100 million or however much it is from Spotify being bought off, in that sense, it's undeniable because he literally took like over $100 million from Spotify. Like, he is corporate media, regardless of how he virtue signals, like, I'm independent media, I'm new media. No, you're not. No, you're just not, right? But in terms of what does he think? I think in his own mind, he thinks, I'm just honestly navigating through all these issues in real time, but he went down a lot of fucking horrible rabbit holes and ended up with preposterously stupid positions.
But it is also avoidable, right? He could actually take the responsibility that really is his to take at this point to get his facts straight and have someone other than Jamie there riding shotgun with him. Where, I mean, he could have two brilliant journalists whose full-time job, he could pay each of them $1 million a year just to sit there and make sure he doesn't put his foot in his mouth in a colossally irresponsible way.
Here's the thing, Sam. He's all about the vibes. He's all about the vibes, and nothing would throw off the vibe faster than an asshole like me fact checking in the room where I'm like, hold on, Joe, that's not true. You're talking about Hunter Biden's corruption or Joe Biden's corruption. Here's how Trump is way more corrupt. Here's how much money he's taken. Here's the deal with the Saudis. Here's, like, nothing would kill the vibe faster. And what he prioritizes the vibes over everything else because he's a comedian. He's an entertainer. It's all about, like, bro, we're just shooting the shit. We're just comedians shooting the shit. Bro, you can't take our word seriously. But then he commands a fucking army of people who take his word seriously. And so, in theory, in principle, what he's saying would be good. Somebody be there to be like, that's not true, that's not true, that's not true. But how quickly would the audience turn on that person and be like, fuck this person, get them out of the room, they're fucking the vibe up. And that's part of the problem, is that we live in like a vibes-based order. And so that's why a lot of people looked at Trump and thought, oh, he feels like he's authentic and he tells the truth. Meanwhile, he lies more than any politician in fucking human history. But since he feels like he's telling the truth, bro, that's good enough, right? And so that's the problem. Joe would never do what you're talking about here. And if he were to do what you're talking about here, I think his podcast would become even less popular. So it's just a matter of, at this point, there is no hope for Rogan. It's about winning the information warfare against these people, against the Joe Rogans, against the Daily Wires, against the Steven Crowders, against the Candace Owens, against the right-wing slop, Tim Pools, et cetera, et cetera. It's about against the Fox News and the Newsmax and the One American News. That's what it is. This is an information war. And for too long, the left and liberals have sort of really been hands-off or just doing their own thing while the right runs circles around them on social media and gains bigger followings. And now it's time to take the fucking gloves off and expose these people for what they fucking are. They're liars, they're con men, they're frauds, they're freaks, they're losers, they believe wildly unpopular things. Their policies will ruin people's lives, and that's what it's time to say. So no, there will be no fact checker in the room holding Joe Rogan accountable, because also, by the way, they'd have to interject every 5 fucking minutes, right? Instead, it's no, just tell the truth and let the chips fall where they may. And the good news is that's why you're now seeing Rogan has slipped from the top spot. He's no longer the number one podcast in America. You know what it is? The Midas Touch guys. They're an anti-Trump podcast. And thank fucking God they dethroned him. And thank God the left and liberals are ascendant. There was just a chart released the other day of political content. Number one in growth was Midas Touch. There were more left-wing shows growing than right-wing shows. And so now it's our time. Right now, given how horrible Trump is and how he's destroying everything in this country, people are starting to wake up. And it'll only lead to more growth and more growth and more growth among the left and among liberals. And that's the only way to win this war. There will be no saving the soul of Joe Rogan. Right? There won't be. Because even when he stumbles on the right take now, he can't help but couch it. Right? It happened the other day with the, oh, really? They kidnapped a gay barber and shipped him off to El Salvador and he was totally innocent and there's no evidence he did anything wrong. And go watch that segment. We covered it. I covered it. It's the best you're going to get from Rogan in 2025, but it's still pathetic. Did you hear how we talked about it? At the beginning, he's like, it's hard to tell, bro. He's given just flat out facts about how barbaric and savage and terrible this is and who this guy is and what they're doing to him and how he's in a slave labor camp in El Salvador. And he's like, it's hard to tell, bro. No, it's not. The reason why you think it's hard to tell for you is because you're fucking texting Elon Musk and you're texting Donald Trump Jr. and you might even be talking to Donald Trump himself. You are in that friend group. You are in the friend group of J.D. Vance and Elon Musk and Trump Jr. and Trump. And you look at these people as colleagues and as friends. And so you think, well, it can't possibly be as evil as it looks. He kept trying to come up with reasons why they did. Oh, did this person do vandalism? Is that why they were fucking arrested? And it's like, no. One of them wrote a pro-Palestine op-ed and was kidnapped. Another one led pro-Palestine protests and was kidnapped. Another one is an innocent person and they're legal and they were shipped to the slave labor camp in El Salvador. We just got evidence from 60 Minutes. They did a deep dive on this. 75% of the people, the 238 people they sent to the El Salvador slave camp, 75% of them have no criminal record at all. And of the ones who do, only a tiny percentage are actually violent criminals. This is the reality. And you helped get us here, Joe Rogan. You did. By humanizing Trump, by acting like he's a truth teller and this is normal and he's really fighting the establishment. He is the fucking epitome of the establishment. And right now he's overseeing a robber baron coup led by Elon Musk. And he's doing a fascist takeover, destroying the Constitution, destroying due process, taking away people's rights, cracking down on free speech. And so there is no getting the soul of Joe Rogan back. It's not happening. It's not happening. All you can do is defeat him in this information war. That's all you can do. You can appeal to his humanity as much as you want. He's only going to give you so much. He's only going to go so far when he's buddies with them and he fucking texts with them. Okay? So that's what we need to stop doing maybe he'll change. No, he won't fucking change. He won't fucking change. And there will come a time, I don't know how far away in the future it's going to be, but there will come a time where you won't be able to find a single fucking MAGA flag or bumper sticker in this country at all anymore. The same thing's going to happen to Trump as happened to George W. Bush. Where there will come a time when it's so fucking embarrassing, everybody runs to their car to scrape off their George W. Bush bumper sticker. They're going to do that with MAGA. They're going to do that with Trump. But I'm here to tell you, don't let them get away with whitewashing their history. They gave us this. They own this. And they're going to know you delivered the results of what happened. And nobody should fucking listen to you about politics ever again, ever. All right, guys, that's the show. I love you all very much. You know the drill. Everybody, please click like, click subscribe, click that bell icon so you get a notification every time a video drops. Thank you to everybody who supports the show on Patreon. Could not do it without you, as you all know. And thank you to everybody who tips with that thanks button on YouTube as well. Do yourself a favor. Like I said, hit subscribe. Also, subscribe to Crystal Kyle and Friends. That's below the Substack link. You're definitely going to want to sign up there. And also, go subscribe to Corin's World on YouTube, because we're posting Kyle and Corin now on his channel, which is Corin's World. So go subscribe there as well. All right, guys. I love you all very much. I'll see you tomorrow. Peace.
What do we think here, folks? Do we agree with Kyle Kulinski? I do. And I agree with Sam Harris. Joe Rogan, well, my thoughts on Donald Trump notwithstanding. I think Joe Rogan's popular because he comes off as relatable and affable and like just a likable bro. But that doesn't excuse, and he's sort of trying to back away from like, hey, I'm just trying to get along, from the actual damage that he's done. But let me know what you think in the comments.